Hello, this is Phoenix for then. It's been about 2+ weeks, getting close to 3 weeks, if not it is. Keeping track of days it's getting easier, but I've been busy non-stop. There are now 8 editions of monolithicalism. Incidental, ironic, and absolutely amazing. If you notice my latest favorite, it is, in a nutshell, 3 points on Earth that are expanding, evolving. It's been a while since I've done a recording. I said since there's so much going on, so much synchronicity, and so many questions, to release one more video before we experience what is to occur. Now, let's start a little bit on monolithicalism. It is extremely deep, and in so many ways connects to what's going on now, what to expect. I've expressed this before. However, we're seeing Earth's activity, Esterlla's activity, rising now officially 9 to 10 times more than 2012's predictions. It's been a while since I've done a recording, so I'm a little rusty. Okay, with the oil leaking and the Gulf, there really is no way of stopping that leak. All the momentum, all the just physics alone, the oil leaking into the ocean is pulling oil from other areas of the Earth. It's probably very integrated. It only makes sense. So to even if able to plug the leak, all that oil still coming to that one point where that leak was at, the accumulated time on top of that, which is a month and 2 weeks, you have all that pressure build up. So if their last method, which was putting some mud in a tanker, or I don't know, it was something underneath the ocean. If they succeeded, it would have worked for, my guess, 10 to 15 minutes tops, because you have all that oil would eventually back that up, and eventually it would rupture, explode underneath the sea, and the leak would be probably 40 times worse than it is now. Essentially, this is a massive debunk as far as oil being Earth's blood. It's safe to say that because that's not true, what else of the Earth that is, quote, well, I wouldn't say just as mass, but there's massive oil wells in the Earth, so that kind of qualifies. I'm talking about crystals, essentially. You have the world's largest piece of granite, Stone Mountain in Georgia, but where the border is around New Mexico, around a lot of that area, about the same size, if not, I think it's between 3 and 6 times larger than the Stone Mountain, is a crystal. Now, chances are anyone who's listening to this video knows a bit about how crystals can amplify many forms of potentials. Many forms: healing, amplification of thoughts, etc. Well, essentially Esterlla is an intrinsic planetary being, you could say, because we are seeing a very high peak of activity in a video, not sure which one, I have 170 plus videos, but I mentioned that at some point Earth is, I'm fairly sure I mentioned that Earth, in a sense, is the bypassing is an act of ponage, in a sense. If you're not familiar with game terms, ponage means at extreme ease, which I've mentioned that term with the Double Helix Nebula that formed May 22nd, 2009. It formed in one night. It's 5,000 light years in length. It didn't even form in a whole night. It was within a matter of hours. I think NASA reports an hour and 15 minutes. That or 40 minutes. So, Earth is absolutely blazing past this oil leak. It has no effect because it is part of what was the unnatural. So, what is the natural? What is the actuality of Esterlla? The eternity and so much more. We're seeing the definite quantifications of catching up in evolution, which we as well occur. Now, the other subject I wanted to mention is many persons on Skype I've noticed are saying they're sick, and a lot of persons that they know are sick as well. Well, no one's describing it as an actual sickness. It's more of a headache, wanting to sleep. I'm sure maybe a few to maybe many reports are expressing it as kind of a flu symptom where you kind of feel bruised, you feel tender. It wasn't too long ago when I've experienced this as well, and it wasn't too long ago that I realized that it's as though adamantium is being filled into my bones, and I don't know if you know if that's familiar. X-Men Origins with Wolverine, it gives a detailed experience of what that would be like. It does. It feels like my bones are hollowing yet also filling. Other persons, this is what they're feeling. Everyone is feeling, to a very specific extent, a similar process. And if you study this, you could feel that. Now, this is preparation. This is pure, enriched preparation. Possibly enriched to say intrinsic preparation. Intrinsic being of a diamond's luster, a ruby's depth. Such crystals, as I will just call them. Of course, rubies, jade, sapphire, they all have their name, and that is the type of crystal they are. Of course, going much further, but to keep on with this flow here, are examples of our levels of growth as well. This is why we have 7 chakras known, it's for a fact, and of course much higher, which is going into essentially a metaphysical form. So you have 7 chakras of the physical body, and then as you go into the spiritual body, you have 7 to the fold of 7 again. 7 times 7 being 49. Not everyone works like this. The core self being 12 ways of eternally discerning, it's all those quantifications as well. Now, the other thing is despite what we can speculate about with evolutionary standards, the calibrations work to a point where Esterlla is nearing that point of physical-like transformation. It's very difficult to explain a physical transition to metaphysical, because metaphysical is actually the naturality. This universe and, well, Earth, Esterlla's beings are essentially going to be the first to realize what's really been going on. What caused so much unnatural occurrences, we know in general, but the beginnings of the universe. And that's the beauty of monolithicalism, is you could literally watch the movie and literally see how it all began. I would previously say it was metaphorical, but watching from the very beginning of the 8 editions, it's quite trippy. It doesn't seem as close to metaphorical anymore. It's extremely hard to explain. Anything that could be a metaphor is actually some type of self-explanatory level that I just cannot describe. But whatever you see in this movie is both your story, the actuality story, and this universe's story. The interlinkings are very well founded, that is for sure. So watching from the very beginning to the 8th edition, both that way and realizing through your core self of what's been going on, those are 2 essential bridges. Those bridges being, I don't even know. Humanity is a beautiful